So we're here tonight with Paul Browne of Team Rhino HQ, topless Instagram model, dad bod extraordinaire, and fairly good shy talker in his own right. So welcome to the podcast, Paul.
Yeah. Happy days. How's the boys? All right?
Yeah, good. So how are you getting on?
Well, just before we get started, what have you been up to? Like, I know that the team haven't seen each other as much, for the last year or so. Have you been keeping yourself busy?
Fucking busier than ever, yeah. Because, like, as you know, now we had our baby like end of January last year. So when lockdown started, it was just sort of all brand new. And then we bought our gaff and moved in the weekend before the first lockdown. So like the first weekend in March, we moved in, and then the following Thursday, the whole world shut down. So yeah, different fucking year, all right, wasn't it? It was very bizarre, but been on and off, like the gyms open and closing as each lockdown is going in and out, and then sort of trying to just navigate all that madness. And just staying busy, yeah, because what I did was I when we went back working after the first lockdown, when my missus went back after her maternity leave more so, what I had to do was I had to make a choice about what way I was going to work, because I used to work fucking scattered crazy hours, the crack, like when you run a gym, it's like you're never off, so I kind of had to look at it and go, right, well, that's not really going to work now with a baby at home. So kind of made a conscious decision to sort of downsize my business a little bit. So I'm only working like a couple of hours each day, and that's it, whether it's like a few hours a couple of mornings a week and a few hours a couple of evenings a week, and that's it. And the rest of the time I'm here with the baby while she's working. So so that's been a big change, because that's fairly hectic anyway, you're sort of, you've got your hands full all day, and then it's actually nice to be able to just piss off then to the gym for a few hours in the evening, or even just get out for a few hours in the morning and get some training in and get some work done and whatnot, So yeah, mad year, but like everyone else, just sort of figuring my way out through it, missing jiu-jitsu competitions more than anything else. But
well, that's what I was thinking. When I look at, like, when you think about the BJJ Revolution affiliate in Ireland, and you think about the competitors, you think about the likes of Kieran Browne, you think David O'Neill, you think Evan Reid, and you're in that list as well. Like, you compete a lot. Do you miss the competitions?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, because like I used to, ever since I started, I would always compete month in, month out. Like, if I went 2-3 months without a competition, it's because I was fucking injured or something. If I was fit and healthy, I'd just be, compete. If I had to jump up 2 weight classes or compete in the adult bracket or whatever, I'd just do it anyway, because I like the scene, and I like it's great fun, and you just kind of throw yourself in anywhere and everywhere, but it's all gone. It was all taken away, wasn't it? But like, the good thing is I had loads of other stuff to sort of replace it. Like, I had like the whole parenting thing, and like, it's not like I was sitting around twiddling my thumbs. Like, I barely had time to blink in that last year anyway. So it's been good. You sort of have to reevaluate then, what you're going to do with your time when you don't have all that other jiu-jitsu time is now gone, so you have to sort of restructure how you manage your days and stuff. So you're going to do miss it big time, I just miss the social aspect more than that, and just going to a competition and just hanging out there for a few hours and catching up with people that you haven't seen in a while. That's the best part,
And like, I know that this is all a guessing game at the minute, but when do you see yourself bumping fists in a competition again?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be dying to, like, because it's like, I've been tipping away a little bit of training since, like, after the first lockdown, whenever that was. So that was 3 or 4 months. So probably at the end of last summer, we started back. We just sort of set ourselves a little bubble, and we've just been training in that bubble since. And like, we all just fucking feel like we're after making massive improvements as a result, because we've been sort of consistent. We've been sort of just plugging away. And when you're training with just the same core group of people, everyone gets used to each other's game really quickly and learns how to nullify it. Because if someone's catching you repeatedly with something, you fucking figure out how to stop them, don't you? So we're sort of we all hit a wall straight away after the first couple of weeks. Because if you're going to a class and you're rolling with 10 different people, you could probably get away with doing the same 1 or 2 things to everyone, Whereas if you're going with the same guy 3 or 4 times in the same training session, he starts to figure you out pretty quick. So everyone has had to start week in, week out, start, bringing new stuff to the table, start learning whole new sides to their game. So I'd say, yeah, I'd be eager to get going and get that feel of just testing myself in competition again. So it's hard to know when we'll get the chance, because the thing is that domestically you don't know what's going to go on, because we seem to be just fucking last at everything. Our country is just, oh my God, we're going to be last at everything, aren't we? And then traveling somewhere and getting over there and getting back and not having to deal with the whole quarantine thing is going to be, that's another problem to navigate. So it's hard to know, but I'd gladly compete now. If there was something going on next week, I'd be there,
Paul, before we get into the questions, and I'll let Kieran fire a few questions at you. You talked about training with the same wee cohort of people. What are you not going to get fucking caught with now that you've excelled in defending?
I don't know. I've always been stubborn and difficult to catch anyway, so I've kind of been good like that. What I have been doing is, or what I used to do was, I always relied on a couple of things: single leg X guard, half guard, lasso guard. So I was always very good in those positions, and I'd be confident in them. And your takedowns, you'd have a few takedowns in your game, but you would never really kind of hone them or improve them, because you didn't fucking need to. You're happier being on your ass. So it's as easy just to pull guard and stuff. And then some of the guys I roll with now, everyone's top game has gone really good. If you make a mistake and get stuck under any of the guys, you don't get back out really. It's very difficult. So what I did was I made a conscious decision to work my stand-up game and my top pressure. So I've been playing predominantly that level, because we all got very good at passing or figuring out how to pass each other's guards and stuff, because everyone has their favorite guards. So one of the guys you'd roll with, a brilliant deep half guard, you'd go, okay, let's go and fucking work on some deep half guard passing, and you fine tune your deep half guard passes. But then he starts throwing something new at you, So I've just been working on getting people on their ass and keeping them down there, and then trying to put them away from there. So it's good to sort of change it up, and and I really enjoyed that, so bring it on. Can't wait to get going again, because I want to get back to meeting everyone in classes and tournaments and stuff again. That's the thing I miss.
Yeah. Kieran, do you have a few questions there? Will we start firing questions at Paul?
Yeah, I have a few questions, but you just said you're working on takedowns. What takedowns are you working on? Just so I can, learn the counters.
At the moment, I'm going through Josh Hinger's sweep single. So he has some good shit on that. He had a good tutorial on it I got. I can't remember what platform I got it on. I have it on my phone somewhere. But I'm about halfway through that. I'm kind of taking my time getting through the just adding in the sequences, because when you have a baby in the house, you get to watch little snippets here or there. You don't get to sit down for an hour and sort of take notes or any of that. So you're just basically watching something while she's having a nap. And then at the next kind of session we do, we only train twice a week. So the next session you're sort of trying to go over them and fine tune them. But loving it. We've been playing just a lot of judo and stuff. And what I've been working on a lot is the in-between stuff. So not just here's a takedown, here's a throw, the in-between stuff. So footwork and making people walk into a throw or making people walk onto something, so the same way you would if you're trying to catch people with punches, kicks, etc. So you're trying to use your footwork to open up space for an entry into a single leg or into a shot or whatever, or onto a throw. So we've been playing around with stuff like that, like the dropsy and nagi and stuff, and just kind of the little in-between parts, the invisible jiu-jitsu, where you're trying to get a guy to commit to something and then countering off it and stuff, rather than just learning the move and trying to implement it. Because that's what people do a lot, isn't it, with jiu-jitsu? Or the way a lot of people teach is here's this move, here's how you do it. So you drill it 100 times, and then you go and you get rolling, and then you try it, it doesn't work. Yeah. Because you don't know you haven't got the guy's base or balance moving in the right direction. You haven't, it's the subtle details like that. But once you become a little bit longer in the game, that's the shit that's what you start figuring out a lot more. That's the stuff that matters, because once you're at a certain level, most of the moves, and this guy knows most of the moves, but being better at knowing when to throw that one in or when to disguise it and walk him into something, that's what we're doing. So with the stand-up, I've been enjoying doing a lot of that, just trying to figure out entries and how to trick people, how to feint, and how to use this to set up that, and then follow them with the third one. And yeah, just fun stuff like that with the stand-up, which I'd never really committed a bit of time to,
Yeah, sounds good. I'm doing a bit of the same with do you see Justin Flores? He's Keenan's coach. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
judo black belt. Yeah, I've got his stuff. It's like an alien language to me. I just
That's
can't
the
make
best
any
bit, though,
sense of
isn't
it.
it?
Yeah, it's
That's the
class.
best bit because it's like, okay, now I'm a fucking white belt again, so now I can just sit down and start going through all of this, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool. Cool. We have a couple of questions from the story, so I suppose we'll jump into it. So first one is your competition consistency is great. Like Andy was saying, you're one of the kind of names who'd be thrown around as one of the more consistent guys in the Team Rhino team out there competing. So the question was, any advice for those who are hesitating to compete?
Oh, yeah, that's tough. Because, like, for the three of us, we always compete, like, every chance we get. So it's probably not a kind of mindset we'd be too familiar with. Like, I suppose, like, everyone is nervous. So, like, when people, I find with teammates and stuff, they kind of might get into this thing into their head that they want to compete, and then they'll go and they'll do it once or twice, and it won't go well. So they just shy away from it. I tried that. I was shit at it. But, like, we're all shit at it. It's just when you repeatedly do it, you pick up, you learn from what you're messing up, what you're doing wrong. Like, you know yourself, with it's about getting used to your own routine. You know, how do I feel when I get down there? What do I do to calm my nerves? What do I do to warm up beforehand? How did I feel when I did that? Right, well, I'm going to stick with that the next time. This didn't work for me, so I'll get rid of that. So it's a process that you have to sort of build yourself, and there's very few people are just good at it from day one. Like, it takes a long time to get to a level where you're confident going into a jiu-jitsu tournament, you know. So even if you're good on the mats in the club and you're not really comfortable competing, those butterflies will make it feel a whole lot different to what it does when you go training or rolling with your mates. So it's about striking that right mental balance, I think. Just becoming comfortable, being there and accepting that you're going to be nervous, and don't mind those butterflies, use them and whatnot. It's part of the game, you know. And I think it's important for people to compete. I know there's, like, probably most people who do jiu-jitsu don't really compete, or they barely compete, whereas it's kind of a select few that are there at most tournaments, isn't it? Like, so I think it's good to just make yourself do it for a solid 2 or 3 years before deciding, you know what, maybe competition doesn't suit me. It doesn't suit everybody, but I think you should do it more than once or twice before giving up on it, which unfortunately a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Just bite the bullet and get after it, you know?
Paul, I think like the thing that I would say to myself a lot as well is like you might think that everybody cares about how you do, but that's, to be brutally honest, nobody really gives a shit about how anybody else does anyway.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, someone told me that ages ago. They were like, "Look, no one gives two fucks about if you win or lose. Like, genuinely, you're the only one who cares. Like,
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, it's all you. And if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. You know."
Yeah, absolutely. Like, people have that kind of self-conscious thing about, you know, oh fuck, I was bragging that I'm going to go and win this competition, and now, you know, people are going to think I'm shit because I lost. Half the people that enter a jiu-jitsu competition get knocked out in the first round. So, like,
Exactly,
you know,
yeah.
I've been submitted inside the first 10 seconds, and on the other side of it, I've gone on and won the whole fucking division. It's when it's your day, and when it's not your day, tough shit. Like, it's just part and parcel, you know. If it was easy, we'd all be fucking champions at everything, you know what I mean? So it's like, nobody gives a fuck. Like, when you're at the Europeans, there's whatever there is, 12 mats or whatever, and you're up in the stands, you can barely see what's going on down the other side of the arena. Like, and the only people that are actually watching your match are your mates and your opponent's mates, and that's kind of it, isn't it? Like, it's not as it seems like it's, you know, a big pressure, high pressure stage, but at the end of the day, you do it 10 times over on the mat when you go training. And what you should be doing is you should be going and giving yourself some rounds against guys that are going to be really, 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 really tough to roll with. So then, when, like, I always find when I go into competition, I would always make sure that in the lead up to it, like, for when I train anyway, I do this. But I pick the guys who are like the black belts who are closest to my weight, and I'll get loads of rounds in with them, and I'll get really fucking good at just scrambling, fucking fighting for everything. Don't give them anything easy. Go, go, go. So that when you go to compete, you'll be coming up against, you know, whether you're a blue belt, a purple belt, a brown belt, whatever, you'll be coming up against and going, right, I know this guy's tough, but the other fucking 4 guys that I've been training with for the last few months, they're tougher than him. And I've been constantly just doing very well in phases against those guys. So I should have nothing to, like, you know, I know this is going to be tough, but there's nothing to be scared of. So, you know, it is a lot, like I said, it's a long process. It takes a long time of competing. You're not going to just think like that on your first couple of times competing. You have to go down and you have to take a few L's and a few, probably get strangled out of it and get arm barred and, you know, in front of people. And, you know, after a while you realize, Jesus, look, it's just another day at the office, back to work on Monday, back to the gym on Monday, and we'll fix whatever we learned, take something from it, you know?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Cool. We'll jump on to the next question. So who's your hardest jiu-jitsu match, or when was your hardest jiu-jitsu match?
Right, there's 2 ways of looking at that, because I would always compete, even though I'm an alpha, I'm 42 now, I'd always compete at the adult divisions and the alpha divisions, the masters divisions. So I suppose anyone I faced in the adult divisions was probably the one you'd answer there, because like you're up against it from the get-go anyway, you know. If we're talking strictly masters, whenever I'd compete at masters, I'd always kind of feel like, right, you could do well here, you know, you'd be confident, you'd be like, you know, this is a division you could do well in. When you compete in the adults, you kind of have a ready-made excuse. The motherfucker was 20 years younger than me, and I just did it just to compete, because there's no one in my bracket. So it's for fun, it's an experience, whatever. But when you compete in the masters, you're going into these tournaments thinking, right, I could do well here if I'm on my game and if I perform well. So I suppose at that level, Galera is probably the toughest. Like, if most people watching this probably know who Galera is, but like, guy's a world champion, European championship multiple times over. So I compete against
roomed with them in Las Vegas, you know, Paul.
Huh?
Yeah, I roomed with them in Las Vegas at the World Masters.
That's right, yeah. I remember you were texting me when you were over there. Yeah, Galera is a legend, like one of the nicest guys I've ever met. You know, I'm really good friends with him. But yeah, competing against him was great. It's like, okay, so if you can do well against this guy, then, you know, you're not doing too badly. So I had a couple of good matches with him, but the first one wasn't too bad. We were very close. And then the second time I competed against him, he absolutely butchered me, you know. So
yeah, you had a very good match against him was it the IBJJF Dublin? I think it was that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It was close.
Good match. And then I competed against him again at the Irish Open, I think. And yeah, he milled me. I can't even remember how that one went, but he caught me in something anyway. I think it was a bow and arrow, maybe. I'd have to watch it back. But yeah, Galera is very good. So I mean, you know what I mean? If you're going in there, you're going in against a guy who's won shitloads of stuff. I remember being over at the Euros with him when he got his brown belt. I think he got his brown belt right before Christmas. And then he competed at brown belt in the Euros. And he's like an age bracket below me. He's Master 2, I'm Master 3. So we were both in brown belt feather. So we were in the warm-up area in the bullpen together. And I was watching him then. He got called out before me, and I was watching him. He won the whole bracket. I think he got silver or gold maybe in the absolute as well. Like, you know, and for a featherweight, like that's, oh shit, that's like you only got your brown belt a month ago. What the hell, like, so you know, he's quite good level. But yeah, I'd say now at that level, competing against masters, he's probably the best, or probably the hardest, the toughest opponent I've come up against, because you're not going to get an easy match, you know. Great test.
I think, Paul, for you as well, that what must give you a wee bit of confidence in the Masters bracket is you look after your strength and mobility so well. And that's something that probably some of the older guys going to the Masters don't maybe put as much emphasis on that. Like, you're good to go, like you're mobile, you're strong, you know, for your weight as well. So like that must give you a wee bit of confidence too.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I tore this shoulder the week I got me brown belt, and I didn't even realize it. I popped in a head and arm choke, and it was like I continued rolling, but the arm was like, you know, pins and needles and whatnot. And anyway, I kept training, and I went easy on it for a little while. And it was like 2 years later, I eventually got an MRI because it was so bad I couldn't do a fucking push-up, bodyweight push-up. Like, the left arm was doing everything, the other arm wouldn't do a thing. So I found out that I had a hole in the fucking thing. I had a hole in the supraspinatus tendon, and I have arthritis under, you know, the AC joint. There's like bone spurs underneath the joint. So once I found that out, I was able to figure out a roadmap to fix it. They wanted to do surgery, and I kind of looked into it. And once I read some studies and stuff and some research on it, I was like, God, don't do that, because you probably wouldn't be getting back on the mats for a long, long time, you know? So I figured out how to fix it, and the fucking difference in it is just ridiculous. So I'm looking back at it now going, holy shit, I was competing there for like a year or two with like practically on one arm, you know? And before that, now I would have always felt a really good, like going into competitions at like Master 2 level, I would have always felt like, okay, I can kind of match anyone here, kind of strength for strength. And that sort of, I got away from that a little bit while I had that injury, but thankfully now it's back to where it used to be. So I'm feeling much more confident in it. But you're right, having just that good base of being strong enough and you know, being able to go repeatedly is good. You know, it's an advantage. It's different now when you go to the Europeans and stuff, because when you go to the Europeans, you think they're right, I'm in the Alpha List division, it won't be too bad. But all you're coming up against in the Europeans is like some serious elite level guys. The guy who beat me, it was the semi-final, the last Europeans I went to, which was 2 years ago. He was like this little Ukrainian wrestler, Dimitri something, and he had no fucking neck. He was about 5'5", and trying to sweep him was like, holy shit! Like he was just
It's
like
the same height as Andy, I think, is he?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he like a little statue. I was just trying to knock him over and sweep. I couldn't, you know. And he went on and won the fucking thing. And the guy he came up against in the final was unbelievable. Like a brilliant technical jiu-jitsu player who got to the final in that division 3 years in a row and got his black belt on the podium. But he couldn't win the final against this Russian motherfucker. The Russian motherfucker just got an advantage and just fucking sat in him and held him. Like, so some of them are just freak level. There was a lad in our division, a purple belt at the Euros, and he was was he Greek? He competed at the 2004 Olympics in Athens in Greco-Roman wrestling. He was deaf, I think, so he competed, was it like the fucking Paralympics, or is there a Deaf Olympics or something? But Paul McIntyre had to face him in the first round. He Googled him, made the mistake of Googling him. My God. He competed at like the Deaf Olympics or the Paralympics, I don't know which one, but he competed and won like medals 4 consecutive times at that Olympics in Greco-Roman wrestling. I was like, Mac was just like fucking nervous. He was a ball of nerves, and I just said, look, just go in, fucking pull guard and try and sweep him. Like, don't be fucking around on the feet. And fair play to him, he pulled guard and he tried and tried and tried. He had the guy up and down, just couldn't complete the sweep. The guy got an advantage and just scraped through. But like, you're coming up against guys. Lee Remedios is another one there. I fought Lee a couple of times at the Euros. We're good pals. Like, and Lee was in the UFC back in the day, and you know he's been wrestling and fighting for 20 odd years. So you're not going in there against like some just alpha who's out for a day out. There, you're in there against some serious athletes. A lot coming from judo backgrounds, wrestling backgrounds, MMA backgrounds, and guys who are. They're all in good nick. So if you don't turn up in good shape to those things at that level, you're going to have a bad day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned McIntyre there. Leads us to the next question. Who's going to be the first Paul to get his black belt in Team Rhino?
It's going to be the Ham, Paul Walsh. All he has to do is turn up and train once or twice and he'll get it. Like, he only trains about once or twice a year. He's a great man, fair weather fan, but he'll come up and just fucking smash everyone in the gym and he'll get a black belt. Me and McIntyre. Paul Redmond's already there. Yeah, he got his black belt. Yeah, so he won that race, but the Ham will be a close second, I'd say. And then myself and McIntyre will get there eventually.
Someone didn't do their research there. They forgot Redzer.
Red's is leading the way all the time, you know.
Yeah, if he's back at Cage Warriors, that's unreal news, isn't it?
Fucking class, yeah. I remember being back at those shows in the Helix when he was fighting. Oh man, some great events. Like, I can't wait for that. Hopefully now he gets a fight over here, you know.
Yeah, that'd be class.
Big time. I think he could well go in there and he could get a title shot. There's some good guys in that lightweight division, you know, and he could well do some damage in there. I'd fancy him against anyone in that bracket, to be honest. So, yeah,
definitely.
Could see a belt. Be great. Cage Warriors belt coming back to the gym again. That'd be brilliant.
Right. Next question related to promotions. Do you feel that your second name is a limiting factor in your jiu-jitsu progression?
I like my Browner belt. I might just stay there for life.
Yeah, it says
To be fair now,
hashtag Browner for Browne.
oh, there you go. Yeah, it's well, like to be fair now, last year doesn't count, doesn't it? Not so. Like,
No.
technically, I've only been a brown belt for shit. So it's only 2 years then instead of 3. So yeah, leave it another while. Like you know, you don't want to be going up there and having to compete against some lad who's been a black belt for 15 years. You know, just let them wait a little longer. Give me a bit more time.
Yeah, but they'd be 16 years if you wait another year, Paul. That doesn't change anything. Like
That's true. That's true. We're not closing the gap on them at any stage. Yeah, no, like belts. You know yourself. You reach a certain stage where you kind of you stop there. When you're a white belt, everyone's dying to be a blue belt, aren't they? And it's like they get frustrated then if they don't get a strike quick enough or they don't get promoted, blah blah blah. But then when you go up, I think once you reach purple belt, it's like, okay, you're kind of okay now because you're at a high level now, and you're at that stage where you're giving some black belts, you know, some trouble on the mats and in the gym, and then, you know, gradually that then starts to improve, and then, you know, you reach a point where you're able to really give them some trouble and whatnot. So once you hit purple belts, you're kind of you're decent. I think there's a divide. There's the white belts and the blue belts, and then there's the purple belts and up. The purple belts and up are the the real deal. So once you're up there, I think you're not too fussed about jumping up the belts too quickly. Then you're like, okay, let me compete at this belt a little longer.
Yeah,
we won't be in too much of a panic. Enjoy it, because once you reach a certain level, it's going to be like, these are all tough matches now. I remember being like that once I got the purple belt. I realized, like, because at blue belt, like, you go into a division, and there'd be some lads in your division who'd be great, there'd be some lads who'd be just slaughtering the bracket, and then some days you go in, you win tournament and whatnot. But there'd always be 1 or 2 guys in the division that weren't that good at all. Like, that was a handy match. Boom, when I ran through him. And then this guy was really tough. He made mincemeat out of me. But once he got a purple belt, it was like, yeah, there's no real handy ones anymore. Everyone kind of knows what they're at out there. You're not smoking too many guys. So it's yeah, and obviously, once you got a black belt, I don't think you'll ever see it too easy of a matchup again. So yeah, no panic. We'll stay where we are for now.
Rainer, we ask everybody the same question. What does it mean to you to be part of Team Rhino?
I suppose the big thing about jiu-jitsu is that, like, my favorite part of the whole game is not just the actual game bit and the sport and whatever. Like, obviously, there's, I love competing. I love feeling like I'm fucking accomplishing something, all of that stuff. But my favorite thing is all the people I've met and all the friends I've met over the years. And like the guys I'm training with now, we're all Team Rhino since day one, so yeah, that to me, it's just that loyalty thing, that family vibe is great. People come and go out of the gym throughout the years, but everyone stays in touch even if they haven't trained for a while. And yeah, we all get on fucking great, and the atmosphere in our gym is very different to the atmosphere in other gyms. Now, I love popping into other gyms. Well, it did pre fucking pandemic. Like, give an example, Paddy Houlihan's gym is 2 minutes from my gym where I work. So I would pop in there for like a Sunday morning session occasionally. Now, pre-pandemic, I used to pop up, and they have a great little vibe up there. They're all sound, they're all cool. And then, like, I've been all over the country and visited gyms, and anytime I travel abroad, I pack a gi and I find a gym to pop in and visit. But our gym is just different. It's just like, everyone's a bit fucking mad. You need a thick skin when you go in there, and if you can't take a slagging, you're in the wrong place. It's absolutely madness. It's crazy in there, So I think that's my favorite bit is just the gang, the vibe up there, and the crack. It's brilliant. Some real characters in the place.
Kieran, will we try and get a wee rant out of him? Is there anything that's pissing you off with the world at the minute?
Fuck, you must have been looking at my Instagram this week, were you? So it was, nothing too much. I'm trying to be all positive these days. I'm trying to avoid the news a lot lately, which is helping,
Well, I think, Brenner, that like you've been blessed a wee bit in that you have a newborn. Like, this is a busy year for you anyway. So it would have been a busy year whether we were running the world as normal or whether we're in a pandemic. Like, it's actually been a bit of a blessing for you in some ways.
Definitely, yeah. Like, it's unbelievable. And I was just thinking there the other day, I was talking to one of the neighbors yesterday about this. Like, the way we have it now, like, is she's just got her parents at home with her all the time, you know, and she doesn't know any different. So I'm wearing my Christmas pajamas still. You can see there. I went out this morning. I went out in the street this morning. I had I have a log cabin. It's dark now. I won't be able to show you. But I had a log cabin installed today that I ordered 6 months ago, but because of lockdown, I had to wait and wait and wait. But the guys arrived this morning with a truck full of fucking materials and they wanted to install it. So I had to go out and move the cars out of the driveway. But like in broad daylight, in my Santa pajamas and my blue hoodie and my runners, and like, how are you lads? So I had to drive me cars around the corner to the next street and had to walk back home. And people are just walking by me on their way to work and on the way to bringing the kids to school. They're looking at me like in my Santa Claus pajamas. But yeah, no, it's been mad this year because, like, yeah, we're kind of like, my little baby has us both at home, you know, and like I'm there with her most of the day and whatnot. Her mom's here with her at the end of the evening when she finishes work. She's just working upstairs, and kids they're not going to know any different now, because if the world just kind of reverts back a little bit and people have to start going back to work, they're all going to be looking around and go, the fuck. So it's been good for her, you know. It's been great, because for me, I would have been on my previous routine of just working a lot around the clock and being real busy, and I would have been just visiting me little kid like once a day or something, you know, instead of like actually getting to hang out with her and bring her to the park every day and bring her out in the back garden and kick footballs at her and all this kind of stuff. And you know, it's been really cool, I suppose, positive in that frame, you know. So I'm trying not to get too pissed off at the world at the moment, because it's there's enough stress going around, isn't there?
Yeah. I think you're probably just looking to compete more than anything.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Because the last one was was February last year. It was the Northern Ireland Open, and the baby was only born like 10 days, I think, and fucked off. It was at Newry, I think, and we went up there and we got to compete, and that was a good day out. And I was thinking, yeah, this is going to be great out crack now. Get a good year of competing under the belt, because I missed the Europeans in January because the baby was born right at the end of January, and well, I wasn't going anywhere, you know what I mean? So I got that competition in. I actually registered for the competition, and the baby was 2 weeks overdue. So I was like, oh, I won't do it now. And I was like 4 kilos over when the baby was born. And then when the missus stayed in the hospital for 4 or 5 days after. And I remember thinking, fuck it, you know what? I could just do that competition. I could make weight, no problem. So I was coming into the hospital every day, visiting her, while limiting me calories and whatnot. And it was just, it was a bit of a job getting back down to featherweight, but I got there eventually and got to get one under the belt, and I'm glad I did, because that was it for the year, wasn't it? So
You were mad.
pining to get
Peter Lavery's boys at that, was that right? Am I right? You had one of Peter Lavery's guys.
Yeah, was it Robin? I'm fucking unbrutal with names. I think it's Robin. Yeah. Yeah, good matchup. Yeah, tough little matchup. And I made weight. I had to wear an extra light gi, and it was one of those gis that's kind of shrunken. I was amazed they let me on the mat with it, but I made it just by the skin of my teeth, because I wasn't planning on competing, so I'd kind of drifted a few pounds over the limit, you know. But it's all good. It's all good. Made it through. Won't be making featherweight again in a hurry, though, I'll tell you.
Sure, Kieran's the same. He's up the middleweight, he's saying.
Not yet. Lightweight now. Middleweight before we go back.
I'm the same, yeah. I think everyone's up a division, though. I think it's just you're going to be competing against the same people when we go back. I think we're all up one division, aren't we?
I think if it's like your natural weight, I think you're just like, that's what's happened to most of us. We just put on that weight we probably should have put on years ago. We've just been cutting.
Yeah, we're not overtraining anymore, like,
yeah,
starving ourselves and overtraining repeatedly. I'm the same, yeah, because I was kind of this weight anyway. Pre-martial arts, I was like 70. I'm trying to remember back, but floating between 73 and 76 kilos from what I remember. But you're going back 10 years ago now. And then once I started competing and I kind of went under 70, I just kind of stayed there and kept it there, because it was easier than cutting weight. I would never I'm too OCD to let myself get too far over my weight limit, because if I was trying to be competing really regularly, I'd just keep it where it was instead of, I just watch it all the time. You know, if I found myself going up above 72 kilos, I'd instantly get me diet in check. Whereas I haven't had to in the last year, and I've been able to kind of just lift weights more often and not be doing it while I'm exhausted and tired and sore. So yeah, just kind of body's just come back to its normal size now. So I think I'll just stay there from now on. It's probably easier. And I'm enjoying just taking a snack out for the baby and just taking the dad tax, just have a few bites and then give her the rest, like kind of, not have to stress about the calories and whatnot.
You can see yourself going at lightweight then from now on.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm barely making I'd say I'm probably 76 kilos in the gi right now. So, and like I'm training jiu-jitsu twice a week and I'm lifting 3 days a week. And I'm active the rest of the time as well. So it's not like I'm not training or I'm out of shape. Like I feel good. Like, so yeah, I'll just keep it there. Yeah, enough of that starve himself. I'm too old now.
Yeah.
Becky.
Anything else? Was there any other questions?
I don't think there was. There was definitely a comment about you being topless all the time, Browne, which
summer's coming. I know the dad bod's here now, so there mightn't be as much of that. So things are a little blurry from here down. So we might lay off that from now on. Huh?
Who do you think made that comment?
I have no idea. It could have been anyone. Yeah. And every time, I'm going to guess, could be Lara Brennan from Galway. Could be. He's always texting me, giving me stick anytime he sees me with no top on in an Instagram photo. But yeah, it could have been anyone. I get stick left, right, centre anyway. But you look at it's grand. It's all good.
Now, was that gobshite on Zoom tonight?
You completely broke up there. I was going to say, I actually had a fella get on to me, a buddy of mine. He was just like, who's this BJJ Browne guy and why does he keep coming up on my Instagram? he like has nothing to do with jiu-jitsu whatsoever. He's just a friend of mine from Cork. And he was like, who the fuck is this guy and why does he keep popping up?
Was he following me or what?
No. He just
my stuff kept coming up on his feed.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Does Instagram do that? I thought you'd only show you people that you follow or whatever.
If you're in the Explore, I think, it shows you accounts like friends and stuff.
Ah, right. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I've been trying to sort of just delete shit that pisses me off. If I see someone posted on Instagram and they piss me off, I'm just kind of just stop following them. Just like, what's the point? What's the point, So it's like I've been making a good fist of that so far this year. I'm just sort of clearing the clutter from my Instagram feed. Some people just bug me, and I just like, I'm too old. I can't be sitting here getting pissed off, hating at my phone. Just like, delete that guy. Yeah. Stop following him. There's enough misery going around.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been weeding out this past year.
Yeah. The life has gone a bit like that, isn't it? There's a lot of giving out. If you want to listen to it, there's a lot of moaning. And there's a lot of negativity, and people are just happy to fight with each other online all the time now. It's like, lads, go easy on yourselves, just life is stressful enough at home for everyone. Like we're all having a hard year, a hard 14 months, so just don't be doing it online.
Fingers crossed by summertime there's some sense of normality, hopefully.
Yeah, well, like I don't know, it's just hard to know with the Irish government, because they're so, I don't know, like we've had more days in lockdown than any other country in the world, haven't we? So it's like, it's hard to know. I was watching something on Off the Ball, and one of the journalists, they were interviewing a guy in London. He was saying he was hungover because he was in a pub with his mates last night. Wanker. You absolute prick. And the lads who were interviewing the Off the Ball guys, they're just like, we're just jealous. It's well for you, So you had a bit of a foggy head in them, but yeah, I think we're a while away from that. Yeah, and like gyms opening and stuff, it's going to be a slow process. I think we're just going to be last at everything, and whatever way they do it, they'll do it arse ways, So hard to know, but hopefully soon. I wouldn't mind getting back on the team Rhino Mats now and catching up with everyone.
Yeah, we'll probably call it a day there, Paul. But as I say, I'm looking forward to getting back on the map here as well. It'll be good to catch up soon again.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
And we must get you up to our place to take a wee class this summer if possible.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. I need a weekend away. That's what I need. I need to just get out of my routine for a couple of days. Yeah, we'll do that. So
brilliant. Thanks for popping on, Paul. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. That's brilliant. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Paul. Brilliant stuff.
Cheers, brother.